And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I am not the hostess Cupcake the Riddler. I am the Rat of a Red Baron, joined by... Uh-oh. Might be muted.
Fucking it up already.
Hey, listen, we like to keep
All
it
right, Ken,
exciting.
start over.
Listen, the host is Cupcake. He's off, so he won't be joining us. But the Red Baron is here, and the Mass is here. We'll be joined foreseeably by Maxine Washable and Souls at some point. But until then, it's just us.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be a good night.
Paying tribute. We did a full show. Back when we were doing 3 hours.
We did.
I don't know. Was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
I think Mock popped in for like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did almost the entire show by ourselves.
Which
I
makes...
think we've done it a couple times.
Yeah, there's been only a few, like, just 2 people doing the show. I mean, even dating back to when, like, we first started, when it was Paul and I. And of those 2, I think I've probably done a pair of shows with you and just Paul about the same amount of times. So
yeah, it's been a couple times, but I enjoy them every time. They're a lot of fun because we get really off topic about nothing.
Very early on, too.
Yeah.
Are you drinking anything this evening?
I actually am, believe it or not, but I'm drinking alcohol. I am drinking Don Julio 19 something.
Wow, look at you. What it is. Get in the mix with the tequila.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night.
I am drinking, I had this whiskey, it's called, oh my God, I forgot that I gotta look it up. It's something Creek, but it's the rapper Yellow Wolf. It's actually his whiskey. Hold on. Such a dope. Creek Water, there it is.
Gotcha.
Not terribly expensive. It goes for like, call it $30, $35. It was actually a gift for my bachelor weekend a year ago. And it kind of just sat on my bar at home because we never drank it that weekend. So
we drank enough else that weekend.
We drank basically beer that entire weekend, so maybe we just didn't get to it. But I had a little left, and I did the gross thing, and in a water bottle, I combined what was left of a started Pepsi and a started Coke. So I have I have a Coke Pepsi Creek Water mix in an Acadia water bottle.
I can't wait to tell everybody else about that later because they're gonna fucking vomit.
It's pretty trashy, but you know.
I'm proud of you, buddy. way to embrace it.
That's right. So I'm gonna give that a mix, and then once we give our toast, I'm gonna have a sip. Speaking of which, do you have a toast of excellence?
I sure do. Want to give a toast of excellence to Stephen Curry, who had a masterful Game 4 performance a couple days ago. 43 points on 14 of 26 shooting. 7 of 14 from deep, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. Yeah. Golden State would have been swept if not for this dude.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good, and it used to make me so mad about Golden State, but I've...
Why?
Well, listen, so I get
you
it.
You hate them because they're good. You have no other reason to hate them.
And my reason being, and it's a very soft reason, like, listen, it's a homegrown team, like these other than when Durant was there, like that team was, pretty much all drafted. I can respect that. And a team that was, in kind of a medium market that's been pretty bad for a long time. So yes, it is deserved. However, I dislike them for the same reason that, like, people, like, it's like these people come out of the woodwork to, like, oh man, Golden State, this, that, and the other. And so, like, because of the fans and the,
okay, so you hate the bandwagon fans. You don't necessarily hate Golden State.
And because of that, it gets kind of washed over into Golden State. But as time goes on, it's kind of been like the Tom Brady thing. I just don't care anymore. I just accept it for what it is. They're really good. And I can't spend my time hating on something that, you know what I mean? It's just
that you just hate because it's not you.
Right. I can't be bitter. I just
You
have
can be. I mean, I'm bitter all the time, but
I just have to get over myself.
well.
But anyway, they're so good, and just like
Yes.
clutch when it matters. And for me, like I don't have a rooting interest for either team. So
No, not at all. Which has made the series all the more enjoyable to watch.
yeah. So I mean, if they win, I think it almost means more because I don't really care for Boston sports in general, but I think in a bigger like basketball situation, I think it's better for them to win than Boston because I just it's already a dynasty, but it just builds on it,
Right.
Um,
Stuff will get his much needed Finals MVP.
yeah,
Maybe gets elevated to another level.
yeah.
We'll see.
My toast is to the San Francisco Giants. They swept the Dodgers, very lucrative, because recently Dodgers have kind of been running away with things, and this kind of makes that division a little bit tighter. I think all the teams are separated by 3.5 games right now. So
I'm curious why you use the word lucrative.
well, because though the Giants they had a surprising last year, I believe it was, if I can remember, or last year or year before. They had a very surprising year when they're kind of expected to not do a whole lot, and they kind of built on that, and it's carried over. And we remember like when we were in high school, like the Giants were in the World Series like every other year. Yeah. So this is kind of putting them kind of back in that scene where it's not just the Dodgers show, and the Padres, they're now kind of the flavor of the moment. So it's like those three teams that stuff is happening. Colorado is doing their thing, but it makes it more interesting that they got a sweep kind of earlier in the year, or at least won a series versus the Dodgers early in the year. So maybe we'll have a really like hot July for the NL West, and it's not just a runaway for the Dodgers.
Really respect the toast of excellence. Still don't think lucrative was the right word. Crack them. Good enough.
As I open my plastic bottle.
Yeah. Another mini toast of excellence we'll mention, just because it's mentioned almost the same person, is that Steph Curry is averaging a better points per game than Tatum is a field goal percentage.
Wow. Steph
is averaging 34.3 points a game. Tatum is averaging 34.1% free throw shooting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for those who don't follow basketball, just take those numbers and understand that that's pretty darn good.
It's all right.
We'll put it in layman's terms for you.
Pretty good. So I thought that was a very fun thing to see this morning. Also on the NFL subreddit this morning, while I was actually trying to wake up at my desk at work this morning, I saw that somebody had posted that clip of Jaquiski Tartt dropping a Matt Stafford interception at the NFC Championship. I had to send it to Sevy just because it was like, hey, happy Monday, fucker.
Now there's real sports bitterness right there.
Oh yeah. We went out to dinner on Saturday together, and the host was apparently a 49ers fan because we both went out wearing our team shirts by sheer happenstance. I just wore a Rams shirt because it was the first thing in my drawer, and I got over there and he was wearing a 49ers shirt. But I'm pretty sure they spit in my food yesterday because I was pretty mean to the host.
Where'd you go?
Plaza Azteca.
Oh, wow. I mean, of all places to get, your food spat in, I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, no kidding. But no, they didn't spit in my food. Sorry, Plaza Azteca. You don't need to go find the host. I was pretty mean to the host, though, and it just made me feel so much joy that I could just savage a random 49ers fan that day. It's a good thing.
And we know you love it.
Oh, yeah. More than almost anything.
Well,
go ahead.
I'll say, I called you. I know it was really short notice, but we did miss you this weekend.
Yeah, it turns out that I was at Ashley's thing until like 1:30 in the afternoon that day, and then I had made plans with Sebi, and then I came home and fell asleep for 4 hours.
Yeah, no, I saw the pictures too, so like I'm glad that at least it's not like we're sitting home, but
right.
We did miss you. We went to
so tell me about it.
So we went to Hammonasset. It was kind of like we'll call it a 10 years in the making trip. No exaggeration. Jeff, who used to be a regular on the show, was trying to get people to go to Hammonasset for a long time, and we kind of he was kind of the coordinator of this trip, and it kind of got thrown together on Kyle's trip for his bachelor weekend in Philadelphia, and it kind of just came up fast, and we just like, hey, it's here, let's do this, and it was really just a big booze fest.
As most things that we do are.
It was kind of like picking up right where we left off from my trip, my bachelor weekend last year.
Nice.
It's just we played. We brought the disc. I mean the net for disc golf. No, we didn't play. Not can jam. We brought the basket for disc golf, and we played like pig, and I brought bocce. We played that, but it was funny. We would play a game for like 5 or 10 minutes. And like, man, I just got to sit down again. Like it's just
you're fucking getting old, dude.
I think we're all just terribly out of shape, but I did my best. I started on Saturday morning at 8 a.m., cracked my first beer, and I didn't stop until 2 a.m. the next morning.
Good man.
So I felt pretty terrible. My body did not like me.
Sure.
But
I'm sure that sounds like it's a real good way to ruin a Monday morning.
Oh yeah. But it was pretty laid back. Kyle and Pat were there Friday night. We got pretty wild there. Played some beer pong, and they left. And then on the following night, it was just Jeff, Paul, Mock, and myself, and it was just really kind of sitting around the fire. So it was fun. We did our fair share of drinking. We cooked. We basically ate only hamburgers and hot dogs,
as you do.
And it was a good time. We wish you were there, but with better planning, we'll do this again.
Oh yeah.
Because the thing is, it's so cheap. I think for $40 you get a site for a weekend. So I mean, basically, it's super attainable, and I think the biggest...
Did you sleep with Paul this weekend?
I'm sorry?
Did you sleep in the same tent as Paul this weekend?
No. I brought my own tent. Now get this. So Kyle opted to sleep in my tent. And
okay.
So I had brought... I didn't know what was kind of happening, but all I brought was like... those really long... they're like outdoor chairs, but you like lay down in them. It's not a hammock.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know, but it has like a cushion. So I brought 2 of those. So I think, all right, if someone needs one, they could have one. If not, I get both. Great. Kyle says he's going to sleep in my tent. Fine. We go to bed at whatever time. Fairly late, been drinking. And at some point in the middle of the night, Kyle left the tent. So not only did he leave the tent, he didn't close the door to my tent. So I woke up to an open tent. And then the guy went and slept in my car. Didn't even ask. So
sounds like a Kyle move.
Yeah.
Sounds like a you move, but sounds like a Kyle move.
So at least I would ask. So basically he invites himself into my residence, bails out in the middle of the night, doesn't close the door, and then sleeps in my car.
Did he at least shut the door to the car?
Yeah, I mean, and
okay.
I got a somewhat funny picture. I'll send you. I mean, it's like looking in a fish tank. It's like a sleeping sea animal.
So Mock mentioned in the group chat today that there is some kind of video that I need to see. Is that from this weekend?
Yeah. So it's the baby bird.
Oh no!
From the I think it was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Episode.
Oh no!
So the egg
that happened this weekend.
The egg happened. So I'm sorry you missed to see it in person.
No, I'm all right.
But it was just as anticipated. After much arguing, because I usually do the filming for these disgusting videos, and after I started filming the first time, it was like 3 minutes of back and forth. I had to stop. I was like, okay, are we doing this or not? Start filming a second time. Just as you imagine, Paul spits the egg into Kyle's mouth. Once the yolk hits, Kyle immediately starts heaving. It spits it out on the ground, walks over to the tree line, and just Ralphs.
Nice.
So good. Not quite as good as puking in the KFC drive-thru, but it's on par. So we'll have you see that.
I can wait. Ugh.
Listen, it's his fault. He comes in.
Oh, yeah.
He makes these outrageous claims and then doesn't want to back it up. So we call him on his shit.
Oh, yeah. He deserves it.
Yeah.
When he gets in here, the first thing I'm going to say is, fuck you, Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was it. Well, so, good times. There's some other stories we'll tell off the air when we get together. But otherwise,
I can only imagine.
Otherwise, it was a good trip.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. So, hey, listen, I was on Twitter the other day, and I found this 90s All-Star, like one of those things where you like spend $5 and you can pick like somebody from the top row, $4 for somebody from the next row. And
Yeah.
Found one of those for like building your offense. I thought that would be fun to try and do on the show.
All right, I'm in.
All right. So how do you want to start? Do you want to build the skill positions first, or do you want to go quarterback first?
Let's do quarterback. No, wait, is this something that, is going to be like you versus me, or we're going to build it together?
Why don't we do both?
Okay.
Let's do together first.
Okay.
And I'll resend this to you real quick just so you have it in front of you. And you said let's do skill position first?
Quarterback first.
Quarterback first. All right. So for the listeners, quarterbacks that are available are Troy Aikman, John Elway, Brett Favre, Dan Marino, and Steve Young. Already can tell you Steve Young is out. And for no other reason than he's a 49er.
Hey, fair enough.
But this is our together draft. So I will step aside for the together draft if you wanted Steve Young. But
no, I think of the 4 available, I would probably pick one of those before Steve Young anyway. So it kind of works out.
I think I personally would go with Troy.
So for me,
because I don't know, it's hard.
So what's your reasoning for Troy?
The clutch gene, regardless, because he's going to have all the talent in the world with him. So we know he can throw the football. He's fine. The clutch gene, definitely more so than Dan Marino, because he only made it to one Super Bowl. Favre, you could say he has the clutch gene, but he also has that pick like 4 times a season where he throws the game away on the last pass.
Yeah. Well, things too, like of this list, it's kind of odd because Favre, I think his prominence was probably, I want to say
2000s.
Yeah, I would say like 96 to 06, like where a lot of these guys, they kind of tapered over from the 80s into the 90s. And Steve Young, for that matter, was like a backup for a long time even before getting the gig in San Fran.
Right.
So for me, it'd be Dan Marino or Troy Aikman. And I think for what you mentioned, I think the 3 Super Bowls definitely pay the bills for this.
Yeah. So I think we'll go with Troy on that, as much as it pains me to have a Cowboy. You going to do running backs, wide receivers, or tight ends next?
We'll do running backs.
All right, we'll go in order. So you got Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, Terrell Davis, and Marshall Faulk.
So
there's an argument to be made for 3 of these guys, I think.
Yeah. I was surprised that Marshall Faulk made this list because I kind of I feel like he found out the same thing that Brett Favre did, like timing wise.
Yeah.
Like obviously he played in the 90s, but
you remember him from the 2000 Rams squad.
Right. It just I think it's just kind of like an odd. I mean, maybe he's the next guy that's most qualified. But
maybe. I in terms of talent, I think it comes down to Emmitt Smith, who played with Troy, Barry Sanders, who's one of the best pure running backs of all time, or Marshall Faulk, who was that double threat receiver that would have just thrived in Jimmy Johnson's system.
So I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna definitely throw Terrell Davis out, though. I think he's deserving of everything that he has. I mean, injuries are injuries. You can't control that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the grand scheme of things, I think these guys that we just mentioned are more important. Um, I think my gut immediately went for Barry Sanders.
Mine too, honestly.
Because just the elusiveness and to be able to turn, something out of nothing.
What he did with the Lions, imagine what he did with Emmitt Smith's Cowboys team.
Yeah. And there's Barry Sanders naysayers were, and they have some qualifying things to say when like, oh, for every 3 of his good runs there was one atrocious one. Like, yeah, that's true, but you have to take the good with the bad. That goes for anything, and his stuff was really really good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like I would go Barry here.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Emmitt Smith, yeah, really good.
Obviously, the leading rusher of all time.
Yeah.
Broken.
Yeah, but part of that too is he's a guy that he had a really good 90s, but he's a guy who kind of like hung around for a while afterwards.
Right.
So,
all right, let's do wide receivers. So we are going to go with each row.
Mm-hmm.
So wide receivers: Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Sterling Sharp, Rod Smith, and Marvin Harrison. Is there a question?
And I mean, I feel like it has to be Jerry Rice.
The only thing I think you can even begin to question is chemistry.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's about it. Everything else, the other 3, I'm sorry, just don't even make the quota for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's really
in terms
hard.
of having Troy for quarterback.
Yeah. By doing something like this, there's these players that they immediately jump at you, and it kind of it keeps you from like seeing anything else.
Yeah.
Like I just said, unfortunately, like I like these guys. Sterling Sharp was really all good. Rod Smith was exciting.
Undrafted to becoming one of the greatest wide receivers.
Oddly, Marvin Harrison kind of falls into that late 90s, more early 2000s being kind of more relevant then, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, because I mean, he played with Peyton all those years in Indianapolis, and that trended more into the 2000s. But
all right, second row.
Jerry Rice, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Just for sake of it. All right, second row: Chris Carter, Tim Brown, Isaac Bruce, T.O., and Randy Moss.
Now, this is interesting. I think this is more deservedly like, hey, we could talk about this. T.O., I may say no just because, yes, he played in the 90s, but that's the Marvin Harrison thing. 90s into the 2000s, he was successful. Basically, his entire career, T.O. has been pretty successful, and he played for a long time. Randy Moss, kind of that same deal. I would argue that Randy Moss had a really great late 90s, quiet early 2000s, and
yeah, I mean he was drafted in 98, so
yeah, I think he's got to be out.
Yeah.
I like Isaac Bruce a lot.
He was 94, so he fits.
Yeah.
And then Chris Carter. I mean, and poor Tim Brown, but I don't think he makes the cut there.
No, I agree. I think I have to go Chris Carter here, unless you disagree.
No, I'm all right with it.
It's tough, and
I think that's fair though.
And I would say, if one thing Chris Carter has is perhaps better hands than Jerry Rice. I mean, I think there's some camps that would argue that.
Jerry had some bad drops in his first couple of years.
Where, you've seen those ridiculous, training camp tapes of Chris Carter.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. So we have, so far, Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, and Chris Carter. Pretty good offense.
Yeah.
Let's finish it off with the tight end. We have Shannon Sharp, Ben Coates, Jay Novacek, Novacek.
I've always heard Novacek.
Novacek, all right. Brent Jones and Tony Gonzalez.
All right. Now
I think this is really honestly two names.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the tight ends in the '90s were not the tight ends that we know today.
No.
So I mean,
Sharp was.
Yes, and to the names listed, I think to like the average fan, there's probably only 3 names that they would even know, in
right
being Sharp, Gonzalez, and maybe Ben Coates. I don't think a lot of people would know Brent Jones or G Novacek as household names. No disrespect,
but they just weren't the exciting things on the field.
Yeah. Listen, Ben Coates was a solid player, but the Patriots were kind of weird, where they had that, we'll call it like a 3 to 4 year span with Drew Bledsoe, where they were pretty good. They were kind of firing on all cylinders. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Packers, but I don't know. I just don't think he makes the cut. And I think for Tony Gonzalez, he falls into that '90s 2000s thing. Where I think Shannon Sharp was more '90s through and through. Because I want to say Shannon Sharp was on that Baltimore Ravens team that won in 2000.
Yep.
But I mean, maybe did he play like maybe 1 year after that? I don't even remember.
Let's see, Shannon Sharp. Yep. Played from 90 until 2003.
Okay.
Skip. Then Tony Gonzalez. Feel bad that I don't know what year he was drafted. 97 to 2013.
And that's the thing. Like, Gonzalez was pretty much consistent his entire career.
Right.
But I'm leaning pretty hard into this being pretty much like '90s exclusive. Like, as primarily.
So it's got to be Sharp.
Yeah, it's got to be Sharp.
Yeah. All right. So we've finished off with Aikman, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, Chris Carter, and Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. I mean, imagine having that in playing fantasy football in the '90s.
All right, so this is really funny. I wanna send you a quick tweet, and it's just gonna make you mad. And then I'll tell the listeners at home what it is as soon as you watch it. But I was just scrolling Twitter trying to find something that I wanted to talk about earlier, and this popped up, and I could not send this to you.
The anticipation is killing me.
All right, well, there it goes. It's on its way over. I
just got it. Let's see. Of course, I touched it.
So, for the listeners at home, the Mass is a very big Redditor who likes to talk in third person. And one of the biggest memes on the site and also on the NFL subreddit is the Manning face. So Tom Brady just did a Twitter video having a GoPro pointed at his forehead and said the kids are calling it the Peyton ankle, which is fucking hysterical.
That is so ridiculous. And it's funny? I'm watching this video. It doesn't even look like Tom Brady.
No.
There's not even any like discernible features. It's just like a forehead in it.
Which is, again, just fucking hysterical. I love the fact that he continues to shit on the two of them after they both retired.
The more times you watch it, you definitely know it's Tom Brady. There's certain little features that pop out. But like I said, I used to despise him. As time goes on, like he is just much more entertaining. He just seems like a regular guy.
Just like ever since he left the Patriots.
Yeah, he's not a stiff anymore.
Belichick doesn't have a stick up his ass.
Yeah.
Which we're all the luckier for because Tom Brady is fucking hysterical. Assuming that this is in fact him on his social media, not some publicist he's paying dollars.
It's got to be. I mean,
I hope it's him.
That guy's got nothing but time.
I really do hope it's him. But who the fuck knows anymore?
I know.
Let's see. Where was the something that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, here we go. AJ Brown yesterday said that he was the best receiver ever to play for the Titans franchise. Do you disagree or agree?
I disagree.
Who jumps to your head number one overall?
So the first off the bat, I was kind of like there's a couple names that ran through. Kevin Dyson, I think was impactful. There was what can I think of his name now? He played for Baltimore too.
Mason.
Yeah, Derek Mason.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that guy was he was important because the Titans as we know it were from 2002 on because they were the Tennessee Oilers for like 2 seasons, and like other than the Oilers which were like prominent in the 70s, like there has to be like a lot of household names for the Titans, but like, people forget that like with Steve McNair and to some degrees like with like Kerry Collins, like the Titans were good. They're, like not for like long, like there was never like a 6-year run that I recall with Tennessee.
Like 2 years here and there.
But like they were consistent. Like good for 2 years, bad for a year or two, good for 2 years. So it's not like that Tennessee is completely like it took AJ Brown to put this team on the map. So I think that's a ridiculous comment. Like, listen, you're good. You're a good player, but I don't know.
I agree. He didn't play there long enough, and he put up good numbers, but he was hurt the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So
real quick, I'm pulling up. I just want to see some other names I may have forgotten. Don't listen. There's plenty of duds in there. The Kenny Britts of the world.
Kenny Britt was our first 1,000-yard receiver in 10 years. Fun fact: Austin Davis and Kellen Clemens throwing him the ball, and Sean Hill that season too, I believe.
Legendary.
Oh, some good names I can remember from my time when the Rams were not so great. TJ Yates is in there.
Oh man,
TJ Yates, who we traded for and then traded back to the Texans. Case Keenum. Man, some really good names.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the Pro Football Reference, like the top receivers for the Titans, and it's not. Listen, we get it. It's not a really overwhelming list. It isn't. But to say he's the best all time for a guy who played there for 3 seasons, and to be 16th all time receiving, take a chill pill, guy. Piss off.
In his defense, he was accosted by somebody on Twitter, and that was his response to them. But still, though.
Yeah. Though not a receiver, but Frank Wycheck, that was a big deal. He played there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, like Derek Mason alone is enough for me to be like, you're wrong. And actually, Nate Washington, who's a Steeler, by the way, he played there for a lot longer than I thought, 2009 to 2014.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Yeah. And also higher than AJ Brown, so take that.
Good enough. Hey, just because we got talking about really obscure players, I Googled a list of obscure NFL players. I got one here that I want to see if you can try and guess.
Okay.
So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Are we doing like 20 question style?
Yeah.
All right. Did we see him play?
He played from 97 on, so yeah.
Okay. Skill position.
Yes.
Wide receiver.
No.
Running back.
Yes.
Do you play for any of our teams?
He did not.
Okay. I'm also not keeping track of my questions, so.
We're gonna go past 20.
All right. Was this guy primarily just an every down back, or did he kind of get in special teams action?
As far as I know, he was primarily a special teams back.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, a every down back, not a special teams back.
Okay.
Every down.
Every down. Did he play for more than 3 teams?
He did not.
Did he play for exactly 3 teams?
He did not.
Was he a one team his entire career guy?
He was not.
All right, so he played for 2 teams.
He did.
Both AFC?
No.
Both NFC?
Yes.
Did this guy play for the 49ers?
He did not.
Freebie
hint. Same division, both teams.
Okay. NFC West?
Nope.
Can't wait to be the last guess I have. North?
Nope.
Here we go. South?
Yes.
I mean, it's still just as bad having to go through. All right. Was he a Panther?
He was not.
Buccaneer?
Yes, he was a Buck.
Okay. Buccaneer Falcon?
Yes.
Warwick Dunn?
Yes, it is Warwick Dunn.
I liked him. He brought the...
Very obscure and underrated. Apparently won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, he there was a period of time where they brought back like the Dirty Bird dance from the 90s, and he was like a major part of doing that.
Ugh, it's so weird.
He was good. I mean, that was, and it was, he kind of had an interesting career in the sense that for both his time for both teams, like he had kind of like, times with Michael Vick during, I'm trying to remember what the span would have been, and like that was a major part of that offense, even though Vick was the whole show. And then
it's way before I started watching.
And then I want to say, I gotta look it up now. Who the quarterback was in Tampa at the time? Come on. I want to say it was Brad Johnson, which he was not excellent, but he won a Super Bowl. Just gotta look it up this way. Brad Johnson. So I was wrong. Brad Johnson was not there at the time. Who was the quarterback then?
Let's see. Quarterback for...
I guess
his rookie year or while he was...
Well, I mean, I guess like 98 or...
Chris Chandler?
Oh.
Trent Dilfer, sorry.
Oh,
well, Work done was there.
Yeah, so it was Trent Dilfer?
Trent Dilfer was quarterback for the Bucs in 98.
Wow. I mean, a guy who won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, but...
Yeah.
So, another guy, I mean, he wasn't terrible, serviceable guy. I mean, I could have sworn it was Brad Johnson, but they didn't cross paths timing-wise.
Maybe later they did. It's funny, when I was just waiting for you to get the text, I was just rattling off really bad St. Louis Rams quarterbacks. I guarantee you I could name the entire 2012 active roster on offense, probably on defense too. What?
Just off the top of your head?
just off the top of my head.
All right. Well, I actually want to see if you can do this. I'm going to get the roster up.
Purely because this was like the first year I had started watching, and I really wanted to try and get to know these players, so I started trying to memorize everybody I could.
All right, so you're saying 2012?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how many you can get. Just kind of, I mean, no particular order. Just
All right, let's stick with the offense first. I know Sam Bradford was the quarterback that year.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we still had Kellen Clemens, and that was the year we drafted Austin Davis, or I'm sorry, signed him as a unrestricted free agent. Running backs, I think that was the year we drafted Isaiah Peed.
Yep.
That might have been the next year. Okay.
Yeah, he was there.
Steven Jackson was still the starting running back there. Our fullback was Corey Harkey. All right, so I'm going to try for the wide receivers. Danny Amendola.
Yep.
Gibson.
Yep.
Pettis.
Yep.
Quick.
Yep.
Am I missing one or two?
You are missing two. I'll give you a hint. You don't particularly care for this guy.
Fucking Chris Gibbons.
Yep. and
Kenny Britt there yet?
No. In fact, if this guy is who I think it is, I'm actually surprised. Yeah, it is him. So you might be surprised too.
All right, hit me.
You had the other Steve Smith.
That's very funny.
He played in 9 games, started 2 of them, and he had 14 receptions.
Wow, good for him.
For 131 yards.
A lot of receptions.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like a non-factor, but I mean, 14 catches is pretty good. The other number is pretty funny though. On 25 targets.
Oh.
For a guy coming off the bench, he's throwing it a whole lot, not a lot to show for it.
Yeah. Let's see. Tight ends. I know Kendricks is there. I don't know if Hosmanzada was still there or not.
No, I'm not seeing him. Got Kendricks though.
We'll move to the offensive line, unless there's another tight end that is a depth piece that I have no idea who that is.
No, I think you got it. I mean, there's a name here that I sort of remembered, and I think he was listed at the 2 at the time, Matthew Mulligan. But that might just be by chance. Maybe somebody got hurt and ended up having.
Maybe. Let's see. We'll go offensive line. I remember Barksdale was there. I remember Saffold was there. Barney was our center. I can't remember the other guard's name or either of the guards' names.
These are tough. I mean, like I even think to myself, like there are certain offensive linemen you just kind of always remember for whatever reason. But unfortunately, being as a position is not super sexy, especially to the fan. There's a lot of names that just kind of fall through the cracks forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, good on you for Saffold.
I'll always remember we had Saffold, drafted him as a tackle, never panned out, but is an awesome guard still. I believe he's in Buffalo now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still kicking.
Originally left to go sign with the Raiders, failed his physical, came back and signed a 5-year deal with us, and was on our team for the 2018 Super Bowl run.
Huh.
Then he went to the Titans. Defensive line, I will remember for the rest of my days. Michael Brockers.
Yep.
Will Hayes.
Yep.
Langford. Chris Long. First Rams jersey I ever owned, by the way. Chris Long, number 72, before Kevin Green left. Or was it Kevin Green that had 91 before him? Might have been. No, because that doesn't fit timeline-wise. Hold on one second. Chris Long. 72.
Wait, but he was number 72 first?
Yeah. In 2011, Chris Long decided to change his jersey number from 72 to his former collegiate number 91, worn by Leonard Little. Yeah, he was 72 for 2 years, I believe.
I can't remember that now. I'm thinking about it.
Bobby Quinn.
Yep.
And Eugene Simmons. And they were not great, but that's my second favorite pass rush squad of all time because they all had fucking energy to go all the time. They were great. Linebackers, I know off the top of my head right away. Jamie Laurinaitis and Jolan Dunbar.
Yep. Two hilarious names in retrospect.
Oh, yeah. Jolan was one of my... I loved him for a long time. Realized later he was not good. But that's all right.
Hey, he had a masterful 4.5 sack season.
Yeah. He was better than Jamie in coverage, though. Defensive backs. Fucking hated this crew. Cortland Finnegan.
Sucks.
Craig Dahl. Janoris Jenkins. Trumaine Johnson. Rhonda McLeod. Quentin Michael. Fun fact, I believe it's Quentin Michael. I might be wrong on that. That used to work in the Edward Jones Dome
really?
in college and got drafted by them. So that was pretty cool. Might not have been Quentin Michael, so I might be misremembering that.
So you know what's funny? This secondary had a lot of guys who kind of hung around for a while.
Yeah, you want to know one who won a Super Bowl?
Who?
Starting strong safety, Darian Stewart.
Really?
Yeah.
With who?
Won a Super Bowl with the Broncos.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So you know what's funny? I actually didn't remember you guys having Jenkins and
Jackrabbit.
Yeah, and
out of Florida State in the second round.
And Pro Football Reference, wasting no time, I was updated his name to Jack Rabbit Jenkins.
Well, fun fact, he actually legally changed his name to Jack
I know,
Rabbit.
it makes me so mad. It's just,
oh yeah, me too.
So ridiculous. And not even funny.
No.
But Quentin Michael, did he?
Yep.
Is he? Well, no. He's probably retired now.
Oh yeah, he's long retired at this point.
Was he an Eagle as well? Actually, just click it, find out. Yeah, he was an Eagle.
Was he?
Yeah, he was an Eagle before.
So was Rod McLeod. He might still be an Eagle. And I was wrong. It was Maurice Alexander, who we drafted in 2014, that used to work at the Edward Jones Dome as a janitor.
Hey, still pretty cool. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
If that's almost something worth making a movie, but it's like not interesting enough to
especially because he wasn't good.
Right. Like there's been other sports like The Blind Side and all that.
I remembered one of our guards, Harvey Dahl.
Yep.
Because Harvey Dahl was a fucking monster on the line. I loved him.
And you know what's interesting too? I mean, that's kind of a unique last name for you guys to have two guys with the same last name.
Yeah. In
Craig and Harvey.
Yep.
It's weird.
And Craig Dahl was fucking worthless. It's almost as bad as what was the name of the Bears safety that Paul hates? White dude.
It's Chris Conte. Yep.
Yeah. Very much in the same vein.
Well, I'll give you credit. It's pretty good memory.
I couldn't tell you anything about the years further past that. I might be able to do the last 2 years, but 2012 is the roster I remembered. Hell, I can even tell you we drafted Rakevius Watkins in the 5th round as a tackle out of Wake Forest. No, it was a red team. Whatever team it was, he came to camp fat and out of shape, never worked out, cut his ass.
I mean, this is an easy one, but what about your special teams?
Greg the Legatron.
Boo.
Line. Fuck you. It's on ESPN.
I don't have to like it.
Neither do I, but it's there. So it wasn't just me, Johnny Hecker, and then long snapper Jake McQuaid. It's the team was finally broken up last season or this season when we cut Johnny Hecker.
Yep, the last piece of tape.
So right now, from the Jeff Fisher era,
Greatest coach
all that's left is Aaron Donald and there was one more person who was still left.
Like as drafted by that regime?
Yeah. There's somebody else that was left. Give me a second. I'm going to see who the holdovers still are. LaMarcus Joyner, Trey Mason. Let's see.
Oh,
and Rob Havenstein. He was the tackle we drafted.
Oh, that's cool. You know, kind of on the same vein, I was doing some research on Cooper Kupp a few weeks back. Cooper Kupp. And I had kind of forgotten. I remember he had gotten hurt. But in my head, I was convinced he played in that first Super Bowl.
Oh, tore his ACL against the Seahawks, I believe.
It's funny. In my head, I was thinking those were different seasons. And I was looking through, like, how did he not have any catches at the time? But then I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that'll do it. Having no ACL in your leg will throw. Fun fact, Cooper Kupp, after he tore his ACL, took time with some of the Rams staff and his own trainer, learned how to, like, run again with a different form. Mm-hmm. His 40-second or his 40 time when he ran in for the combine by like 0.3 of a second after learning how to run again. And so he got faster after an ACL tear.
So that's a real thing. And this goes out to anyone who's listening. You may not be slow. You may just not know how to run. That is for sure a thing. And I've said this forever that I've seen people who are just they're ugly runners. Now we joke about like Rebecca being really slow. It's just because she doesn't know how to do it. I watch her and it's like there's no functionality that makes any sense. It's and there's just people like that. I can't really explain it other than if you go to a physical trainer and they look at how you use your body.
Right.
But yeah, that is so funny you mentioned that because that for sure is a thing. And for athletes too, you know, you hear ACL either done forever or they're going to be limited in some capacity. But that's kind of not the case anymore. And like we've seen it with pitchers, you know, hey, Tommy John surgery now is almost like better. You know, get Tommy John, you come back a better pitcher nowadays. But
it's certainly interesting.
And I'm excited, you know, knock on whatever here, wood. I really hope that we get at least, we'll call it, I don't want to be greedy, 5 more good years of Cooper Kupp before we kind of, you know.
I would, nothing would make me happier. I want to see him go into the Hall now, but.
Because you figure he's 28 now, which is really weird because, like, you know, he's our age.
He came out of college late. I think he was 24 or 25 when he came out.
And fun fact, 2 days from now, it'll be his birthday.
Yes.
So we're recording today on the 13th of June. So be sure to, on the 15th, send Cooper Kupp your birthday wishes on Twitter.
And if you don't, if you send him something else mean, I will find you and I will kill you. That man is a saint. Did you see that he showed up to sign his deal wearing a Stafford jersey?
So funny. Such a weird flex.
Those two are just like the best. It's the best thing ever.
Oh, a question for you. Why did he change his number?
Kupp?
Yeah.
So 10 wasn't available when he got to the Rams when he was drafted.
He wore 18, right?
Correct.
So 10 was his collegiate number?
I believe it was. Give me 1 second. I'm going to double check that.
Because I always thought that was kind of weird because I know they did like that number realignment and 10 was always kind of a receiver number anyway. Yes. But
number in college.
So I guess that makes sense. But I was like, oh, like 18, that's a cool receiver number. I was kind of upset when he changed it.
Is. But unfortunately, the one that's stuck in my head with it is Kenny Britt. So there's that. So yeah. I'll always love you, Kenny Britt. Give us a 1,000-yard receiver when we didn't have any business having one.
Yeah.
Remember when he broke that too? No. he broke the 800-yard mark, which we hadn't had in 10 years. Proceeded to get 1,000, but he got the 800-yard mark on a go. God, why do I know this? On like a go route against the Chargers.
Wait a minute. So you guys didn't have an over 800-yard receiver in 10 years?
It was a pretty long time. Let me see if I can find the receiving stats on Pro Football Reference.
Because I was going to say, like, even if your team is bad, like, a lot of times you just by
how bad the Rams were.
I know, but just by like sure chance, like somebody's just going to break, like, have like 1,004 yards on the season.
All right, so the 2000 here. Let's see. Let's go to the season where we had 1,000 yards. I'll go from there. Receiving yards wasn't that year. Let's go to the next year. Receiving yards wasn't that year. Oh my God, Jared Cook was a Ram. Receiving yards. You know, Kendall, I might have been wrong. It might have been not 1,000-yard season. It might have been we did better than 700 for the first time in forever.
Oh my God.
Let's see, yards. Nope, there it is. So Kenny Britt got us a 1,000-yard season with 1,002 yards in 2016.
Wow.
So 2015, our top yard. We're going to go back. 2016 was the one. Kenny Britt was the year before with 681. The year before that, in 2014, was 748 by Kenny Britt. 2013 was 671 by Jared Cook. The year before that was 698 by Chris Gibbons.
Oh my God.
2011, the season I started watching, was Brandon Lloyd with 683. The next closest receiver had 431. 2010 yards, 689 by Danny Glass Cannon Amendola. 2009 is 589 yards by a guy I've never even fucking heard of. Who are you?
What's his name?
Donnie Avery.
Oh, I remember him. He was kind of whatever.
He had 589 yards, and that led our team in 2009. 2008, Torrey Holt had 796 yards. 2007 was Torrey Holt with 1,200 yards. So 9 years of not even 1,000 yards.
I mean, that's incredible to me. Like, I understand, like, you have some bad years, and let's say maybe you can go 4 or 5 years without having 1,000 yards, but almost 10 seasons without 1,000 yards before.
There's a reason the Rams were a laughing stock for a long part of my viewership. And let it never be said I was a bandwagon fan. I started in 2011.
Yeah, that's the real nitty gritty.
I started when they had gone 2-11. No, 2-14 the year prior. No bandwagon. But yeah, I can remember a good portion of those dark days. I remember I was sitting in a Raymore and Flanagan when the news broke that we traded Sam Bradford for Nick Foles. What an interesting time to be a Rams fan. I remember the year before, I was buying my new car, my second car. We were in the dealership parking lot when I got the text alert that Sam Bradford had torn his ACL in a preseason game against the Browns.
Dark days.
I remember a lot. Probably more well than I should.
Well, you had to put up with, Jeff Fisher for 5 years, whatever it was.
He did his best. I no longer hate Jeff. I actually like Jeff Fisher. He seems like a cool dude. He's a player's coach, so everybody loves him. He just, as a lot of coaches do, refused to grow.
Yeah, there's those guys that are like, hey, this is the way we do it, like it or leave. And he's definitely seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a guy who's stuck in the 80s and 90s of the ground pound game of football when that just wasn't the trend when he was coaching anymore.
He's coaching USFL, right?
He is. He's coaching the Panthers.
I have not kept up at all with that. Not even like, and not for. I mean, I don't care, but not for a lack of like. Oh, it's so uninteresting. It's just like it's white noise, right? It's as far as I'm concerned, it's just like, hey, this happens to be going on. I'm not gonna like ever. I don't ever see myself watching a season of that. I just don't. If I ever stumbled on TV, I probably wouldn't turn it off. At least not right away. Yeah. But
I don't see what it's about.
I've been not really watching, but I've kind of kept some tabs on the fan control of football. Did you see that? Oh, did I lose you, Mass? I may have lost you, or muted or something. But yeah, I'm trying to. I've kind of kept tabs on the fan control of football, which is somewhat interesting.
Sorry,
that's all right. I lost you. I was like, oh no.
You did. Let's see. I had something done this past weekend. I want to see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. This is the site, so I should have my password to sign in. Here we go. I think we might leave this for when Kyle and Mock get here. I have made a bracket, which we haven't done.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean, if they're jumping on.
And it is a bracket of the best NFL nicknames in history.
All right.
So, you remember the other day when I sent the Legatron thing in the chat?
Yes.
It's because I was doing research and it showed up on ESPN and I was like, fuck you guys.
Listen, I always believed you, but I just didn't like it.
Nobody liked it. Well, I kind of liked it, but let's see. Kyle says he's almost home. So I don't know about that, but Kyle's almost home is probably 30 minutes.
Right.
Well,
I'll tell you, let's see if by 9:30, if neither of them are on, I think we'll just go for it.
Let's see. Other teams. There is something I saw people doing the other day, and I want to see if we can do something along the lines of it. So you probably remember the great Ed Reed as a dominant safety for the Baltimore Ravens from 2002 to 2012. Probably remember him for being a Super Bowl champion,
yep,
an NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 5-team first All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, led the league in interceptions for 3 years, and was a member of the Hall of Fame and the 100th anniversary all-time team. Which you probably didn't know, Kendall, you probably know, is that he played for 2 other teams at the end of his career. Kendall, can you name them both?
One was Houston.
Correct.
And was the other the Jets?
It sure was.
Yeah, I remember him kind of having an unglamorous end to his career.
Considering that he played for the Texans and the Jets in the same year of 2013.
Yeah, I always feel bad for guys who are, legendary in their own right. And it kind of just, they don't have the chance to kind of like ride off into the sunset, whether they're chasing that last ring or just they're not ready to hang it up and the team doesn't want to continue with them. Like that, yeah. That's a guy that I feel like like people aren't going to really remember those two teams, but
No,
it's just kind of like,
absolutely not.
I don't know. It just makes you, I don't know. You feel kind of like dirty for knowing it.
So here's another couple of them we're gonna do just to try and eat up some time while we wait for the guys to get on.
Though I will say, I think he did have like 1 or 2 picks in that stint.
Let's see if I'll reopen his tab real quick. Ed Reed, come back and tell me how you did. Ed Reed, let's see. 3 interceptions as a member of the New York Jets from week 14 on.
Yeah, so it wasn't a total bust, but
no. And it does not say that he recorded any interceptions as a Texan.
Yeah, probably not.
He did not. But 3 as a Jet in like 5 games. Not bad. Yeah, it looks like he actually went under surgery right before signing with the Texans, which could explain the injuries. Fucking shit all the time. Sean Edward Alexander is a former professional football player who was a running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Sean Alexander, I believe, is the most recent. No, because Adrian Peterson won an MVP, right?
Yes. Pretty sure.
So he's one of the last 2 players besides a quarterback to win an MVP. Was an offensive player of the year the same year. Finished with a first-team All-Pro and a second-team All-Pro and 3 Pro Bowls. Also led the league in scoring in 2005. Could you tell us the other team he played for?
So as soon as you said his name, I feel like I remembered him playing for Washington. Is that correct?
You sure did.
Yeah.
Finished out in Washington. He rushed for 24 yards in his final 4 games.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was fun, but let's see if we can go a little bit deeper and see if I can start to actually test your knowledge, because those guys were number 1 and number 2 on that list. So,
yeah,
interesting.
I remember Sean Alexander, after that Super Bowl run, I want to say there was like 1 good more year in Seattle, and then
was that the year that Hasselbeck said we want the ball and we're going to score?
No, that was in the earlier 2000s, because he ended up throwing that pick against the Packers. I want to say I think it was Al Harris who picked him off. That's one of those. That's like a real cringy sports moment that, like, even though I don't care when it comes on, I'm like, oh, I can't watch this.
It's still very funny. Jamal Rashad Jones-Charles is a former American football running back. Played college for the University of Texas. Was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 3rd round of the 2018 NFL Draft. Finished his career with 2 first-team All-Pros, 1 second-team, and 4 Pro Bowls. Can you tell me the other 2 teams Jamal Charles played for?
Man, I know he did, and I'll never think of him.
I'll give you 3 guesses total.
All right, I'm going to say that he played for Cleveland, and I'm going to say he played for division rival Denver.
So you had one of those right, and it was Denver.
All right, I kind of remember that. I don't remember the other.
Jamal Charles finished his career out in 2018 with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow. I don't remember that at all.
Played 2 games with the Jaguars, only totaled 6 carries for 7 rushing yards. And that was his season.
Man, I mean, so that, talk about a steep fall off. Now, I think he battled some injuries.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in 2016. He never bounced back from that.
I mean, let that be an example to anyone who talks about, like, these running backs. Like, it's so
trying to
hard.
Get their payday.
Right, it's so hard for them to get the payday because, after watching that season, there's been very few people that I've sat back and said, wow, this guy is going to be a really big deal for a long time. I was convinced of it. And he fell off a 25-story building as far as I'm concerned career-wise. And totally, yeah, he got injured, but I would have never anticipated that. I mean, because how dominant he was.
Yeah, it was. I remember the fall off. It was a fucking nosedive.
Right. I mean, I think of like those monster touchdown games he had.
Mm-hmm. And he was the original fantasy player.
Yeah.
He was like the OG for like holy shit numbers. But yeah, let's talk about another former running back, Steven Rashad Jackson.
Okay.
Is a former American football running back who played 12 seasons, primarily with the St. Louis Rams. He was drafted 24th overall in 2004, and to his record has 2 second-team All-Pros and 3 Pro Bowls. Deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because he would have been on any other team, but we just went through how bad those teams were. Steven Jackson played, like I said, primarily for the St. Louis Rams. He also played for 2 other teams. Do you remember the 2 teams?
Okay. There's a part of me that thinks he played for New England because I think he had like a playoff run with them that he kind of like hopped in late or even in the playoffs signed. And the other team, I want to say, might have been the Falcons.
You would be correct. Started off when we released him to go find a playoff chance, signed with the Falcons, had a small playoff run with them, and then ended up going on a run with the New England Patriots, as previously mentioned, and unfortunately never got that ring that he definitely deserved.
Yeah. Joining the show, Souls.
What up, Souls?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, it's all right. Glad you're here.
Souls, you'd probably like this game. Randy Jean Moss is a former American football wide receiver. Played for the NFL in the NFL for 14 seasons after being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in 1998. Randy Moss finished as the Offensive Rookie of the Year, NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 4 first-team All-Pros, 6 Pro Bowls, 5 times touchdown leader, 2002 team, 100th anniversary all-time team, amongst other records that he has. Can you name me the 4 other teams that Randy Moss played for?
The 49ers.
Okay.
The Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
The Oakland Raiders.
Yep.
Patriots.
And there you go, Kyle. Nice job. Can you tell me what college he was drafted out of?
Marshall.
Can you tell me what pick he was?
Second.
No, not even close.
Second rounder.
No, he was first rounder.
20.
21.
20.
You know,
I know he played for Marshall because I know he played with Chad Pennington.
You know, Randy Moss is part of the biggest NFL conspiracy ever.
Which one?
Going to Minnesota to catch Brett Favre's 500th touchdown pass.
Oh, yeah.
And then get immediately traded.
Yep.
That's the things no one's talking about.
Hey,
plenty of people talked about it.
We should
keep doing this.
But people should still be talking about it.
No, that takes too much time.
This is why the world is so bad.
Kyle, we talked a lot while you were off doing other things, but we were waiting for you and Mark to get on to do a small segment.
Sorry,
Mark is maybe not going to be joining us, so you'll have to do for now. Stop blowing your nose.
I had to happen.
Mute your mic. We are going to do a bracket that we haven't done in a long time.
All right.
We're going to do the top 16 best nicknames in NFL history.
Okay. Gregatron's out.
Listen, don't give any away, Kyle.
All right. So I didn't do these in any particular order. The first few I just did as I remembered them. But we can have me read them all off, or we can read them as we get to the brackets.
You talking kind of like round by round?
Yeah.
I like to do it like that.
Okay. So first up, we have Deacon Jones versus Andre Bad Moon Rising.
So I like that nickname. I didn't really know it until just now, and that's really influencing my decision. But I mean, like, that's such an iconic name.
Can't really say anything against it.
I like the other one a lot better.
What? Andre Rising?
Yeah.
I like the nickname better, but there's one that stands out as just a better player.
Yeah, see, listen,
but we're not doing players. We're doing nicknames.
I like the name, but listen, I'm not going to vote for it because I just learned it today, and I think that's unfair.
Fair enough.
You're unfair.
I'll also vote for Deacon Jones here.
Boo.
So Deacon Jones is moving on. Up next. Give me 1 second. I need to get a list of the nicknames for this guy.
This guy's got multiple nicknames?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's like Tim Duncan's like the Moses man or something like that.
What? The Moses man.
Dude, just go to NBA Reference. They tell you all a bunch of fucking nicknames you never even heard of.
Yeah. Like, imagine that, like, watching, like, a game, like, oh, the Moses man. Down, like, what?
It probably wasn't the Moses man, but it's funny.
I'm going to tell people it was.
Phillies are going to go back 105, we can. The Marlins. So fucking frustrating.
Who do you got on the mound tonight? The Moses man?
Noah started. He threw.
Where did I drop out?
You were getting the names back together, or making a...
Okay. You didn't hear any of them?
No.
Okay. So we have the bus versus Jared Lorenzen, a.k.a. BBQ, Big Beautiful Quarterback, a.k.a. Battleship Lorenzen, a.k.a. the Hefty Lefty, a.k.a. the Abominable Throwman, a.k.a. the Pillsbury Throwboy, a.k.a. the Roundabout of Touchdown.
So you had a lot of amazing names. I knew about the Hefty Lefty. Didn't know about a lot of those. All hilarious. R.I.P., by the way.
Yes. R.I.P. Jared Lorenzen.
But Homer, I can't pass on the bus.
Yeah, the bus is a good name.
I'm going to give Jared Lorenzen a vote. I knew that he wouldn't make it, but all of those nicknames are incredible, so yeah. He deserved it.
Oddly enough, I like the Battleship one a lot.
Yeah.
Like, if I heard a sports commentator say that on TV, I'd be like, oh, yeah.
Oh, man, it's Battleship coming out tonight.
Through a pick.
All right.
E4.
We have, Kyle, very funny joke. Up next, we have Fitzmagic versus the Refrigerator, William Perry. Fitzmagic being Ryan Fitzpatrick, by the way.
I feel like we knew that.
I just didn't want you to get confused for Fitzgerald.
All right, so here's the thing. This is kind of where I stand. I prefer Fitzmagic, but the fridge is like an icon, and if I kind of like did the same thing for Deacon Jones, I think I have to keep that as my thing.
I agree.
So I will vote for the fridge here.
All right.
I'm going for Fitzmagic.
I'm also going for the Refrigerator. Although Fitzmagic does get an honorable mention because it's great. Up next, we have Mean Joe versus Beast Mode.
They made a commercial after Mean Joe.
They did. But everybody knew Beast Mode. You say that even now, everybody still knows who that is.
Yeah. They probably know who Mean Joe is back in the 40s.
Probably true.
Keep that fair, you fuck.
So, I think these are more equal than we think. Because both are iconic in their own right.
Yep.
See, being a Steelers fan, that plays very heavily into this.
when I made this, I expected there to be 2 Steelers fans versus 3 people who could look at this objectively.
Well, I'm trying to
But
look
I
at it
don't have
objectively. I think I'm pretty objective.
For the most part, you are.
I'll go beast mode.
Kendall?
And you know what? I will also go beast mode.
All right. 3 for beast mode to move on.
Sorry, Mean Joe. Guess he doesn't get my Coke either.
We have 2 quarter... Fucking stupid. We have 2 quarterbacks coming up in Dick Night Train Lane and Dion Primetime Sanders.
I like Night Train.
So here's the thing, like, that's it, like a more, like, we'll call it old-timey nickname, and I don't know what it's supposed to mean. I haven't done any research.
So, funny enough,
Dick Lane, research.
Yeah. Dick Lane had a fear of however they used to travel at that point. I think it was...
Oh, they just got shot out of a cannon from each stadium.
So, God fucking damn. That really got me. Lane got his nickname when he first got signed. Do you know what team initially signed him?
The Lions.
Yeah, I just knew about Detroit. I don't know where he was signed.
Originally, where he set the record was in Los Angeles as the Rams.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he started on the Rams.
What?
I don't know.
You don't know what you said?
I thought he started on the Rams.
He did start on the Rams. That's what I asked.
I mean, I don't remember what's going on.
All right. He got his nickname during training camp with the Rams. His teammate had a record player that played a song called Night Train. He didn't like the nickname at first, but yeah, that's how we got it.
So he just embraced it from a nickname from a song.
Pretty much. So we have Kyle voting for Night Train. Kendall?
I'm a big Deion Sanders fan, so I'm going Primetime.
Me too. Primetime is such a good nickname.
Primetime's overrated.
No.
Yep.
So here comes one of the easiest ones, I think. Next up, you got Larry Legend versus Sweetness.
All
We're
right.
going with Sweetness here.
Yep.
And it's gonna be Sweetness, but Larry Legend isn't Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't like somebody like Larry Zonka or somebody. I mean, Sweetness is just kind of a really cool name.
Yeah.
That kind of, even though it's played.
You ever see the rollerblading movie with Bow Wow?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I've ever seen that.
So like I guess you could call it like the bad guy rollerblader. His name was Sweetness. Fun fact of the night.
Why do you know that?
I watched the movie 100 times.
Why?
I'd love to see the Rotten Tomatoes score for that movie.
Probably 15.
I'll tell you. Rotten.
It's called Roll Bounce.
My guess is going to be 34%.
There's no way.
62. I'm hoping. 62. Give me something here.
Holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with this place? It has 66%.
66%? There's no way.
It's a good movie.
I don't believe you.
Well, Rotten Tomato thinks it's better than you think.
Here it is.
You showed me.
This is a 66% out of
what, 4 votes?
Everybody who rated it, which was like 7 people.
All right.
So there's a place called Halftime that gave it 100%.
All right. So I think to be credible, it has to have at least 30 votes.
Something stupid. All right. Anyways, so up next we have Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron, And then we have Christian Okoye, aka the Nigerian Nightmare.
Pretty awesome nickname just in general.
Yep.
But Megatron has kind of been like a synonymous with like especially modern day football and wide receiver. A name that actually I really don't know the backstory to. With that being said, I think it's appropriate, and I'm going to vote for Megatron.
Kyle?
What was the other one?
Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye.
Yeah, that one.
He played for the Chiefs, I believe.
Okoye, yeah. Got fucking blown up in the hole on a Monday Night Football game by Steve Atwater. Fellow teammate and wide receiver Roy Williams nicknamed Calvin Johnson Megatron due to his large hands being similar to that of the towering Decepticon.
And I really disliked Roy Williams, so...
What did the Cowboys for like a first-round pick, didn't they?
Yeah, I think he definitely was moved.
Which Roy Williams are we talking about?
The Lions wide receiver that went to the Cowboys.
Okay.
The guy with the beard, right?
Well,
No.
that one was a Cowboy that went to the Bengals, I think. The safety.
Wait, but I thought that the receiver Roy Williams was a Cowboy and Lion. Was he not?
He was.
He was, but he didn't have a beard.
I'm pretty sure he had a beard.
He might
How
have had
the
a beard. I don't
safety of
fucking
Roy
know.
Williams?
Well, anyway, screw him.
There's two Roy Williams, man.
All right, so I'm giving it to Megatron, and we're moving on with that one.
God damn it.
Last year,
was so good.
it is so good. I agree. Up next, last of the first round, Greg the Leg versus Reggie White, the Minister of Defense.
Listen, I'm not voting for Legatron. I just won't do it.
I didn't say Legatron. I said Greg the Leg.
Oh, we're going with the Minister of Dark.
I'm still going with the Minister of Dark.
But I did not put Legatron on this because I didn't want to get yelled at.
I still like the Minister of
Guilty
Dark.
by association.
Up next, round 2, Deacon Jones versus the Bus.
The Bus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to win because I don't know if it will, but I think this time the Bus beats out Deacon Jones.
I'm still going to give Deacon Jones a courtesy vote, but we'll move on. We have William the Refrigerator Perry versus Marshawn, a.k.a. Beast Mode.
I'm going with the Fridge.
Yeah, I'm going Fridge here too.
I'm going Beast Mode, but I can see a loss.
Because they're like, once again, that's pretty close. But like a lot of times, like when I even just in conversation, if I hear like someone say the Fridge, I'll think of William Perry. It just happens.
Right. It's all good.
Like if someone says, "Oh, I'm going Beast Mode," I'm thinking to myself, "Well, you're a dick."
Let's see. Up next, we have 2 all-time nicknames: Primetime versus Sweetness.
Sweetness. Because of the bad guy rollerblader.
All right. Because of Kyle's reasoning, I am going Primetime.
All right. Primetime actually advances.
Bullshit.
Listen, you did it to yourself. I was willing to consider a change.
Last of round 2, Megatron versus the Minister of Defense.
Minister of Darkness all the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an awesome nickname.
It is.
I'm going that.
Up next. Excuse me. Round 3. The Bus versus the Refrigerator.
I kind of like a vehicle better than a fridge.
All right,
I'm going Bus here.
All right,
I'm going Fridge.
I have to be. I got to be objective here. I like the Bus a lot. It's my favorite player ever, but I have to hold up the integrity of what I think is right, and I think the Fridge has to move on.
Pussy.
Fun fact, also somebody else who was a Ram prior.
Yeah, it's true. Have you guys, real quick, have you ever seen the video for the Super Bowl Shuffle?
Yes.
Yeah.
We should get together as a group and just watch that one time.
I'm in.
Or just recreate it.
Oh man, could you imagine?
If we're gonna recreate the Super Bowl Shuffle, we also have to do Ram It.
That's a thing. Then we have to do the Steelers song.
Okay, we have a
Here
song.
we go.
Oh yeah, you got your singing it.
Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Nancy, have you ever heard that song?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because it's oddly
NFL top 10.
It's oddly good, but cringy, but good.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Up next is Primetime versus the Minister of Defense.
Minister of Darkness. I will forever love that nickname.
See, I love both nicknames though.
I'm going Primetime.
So will you let your integrity fucking do this, huh?
Well, what do you mean?
Get off the Dion Dick train.
Listen, they were both really good. I think that those are very equal.
Minister of Darkness is way better, and you fucking know it.
Hey, you're not even saying the name we're trying to put through.
You just picked what you liked to how it sounded.
Listen, I know what it says, but I'm saying it my way.
And he did it his way.
I'm really torn. These are two of my favorite nicknames of all time. But
Primetime's gonna win. Overrated bitch. Guy doesn't have toes anymore.
going with Minister of Defense.
Yeah!
God, just for that,
All
you got to give up your toes.
I'm cool with it.
So for the final, we have William the Refrigerator Perry versus Reggie the Minister of Defense White.
Do I even got to answer?
No, you don't.
So it's going,
Yep.
The ministry there versus the fridge.
Gangrel, baby.
Gangrel. I'm going fridge. I got to. It's got to win.
Except it doesn't, Kendall.
Boo, Matthew.
Yeah!
Minister of Defense wins.
Don't give Kyle the satisfaction.
I didn't want to, but out of my favorite nicknames of all time are Minister of Defense, Primetime, and Beast Mode. And all of Jared Lorenz's, because they're all hysterical.
Well, listen, I don't hate the winner. It's definitely deserving. That was a good bracket.
One of the coolest nicknames, though, that nobody ever talked about was Andre Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew that so much sooner.
Because it's such a cool nickname.
Well, Big Ben. That's a good nickname.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely names that I'm sure that were forgotten.
It is such a good nickname, but honestly, I don't even consider it a nickname. I almost just consider it his name.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree.
Just change his name.
What's your name? Big. My name's Big.
Big - Ben. You know who was glad I got left off the list because his actual name is Jackrabbit. We mentioned it earlier. I hate that.
Yeah, I wasn't putting Janoris Jenkins on this list.
I did like when I think Pac-Man changed his name to Pac-Man, but before
Chad Ochocinco did too.
Yeah, but I think like once you change your name legally, it kind of like spoils the nickname.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see. Honorable mentions that were left off the list. Broadway Joe Namath.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Legatron. Greg Zerline.
They called him Broadway Joe because he lived on the road. Did you know that?
I did. I did. He slept right next to the place where they did Wicked.
Fuck the Cardinals.
Of St. Louis,
like
Arizona.
Cardinals?
St. Louis.
Oh yeah. Well, fuck you guys too.
No, but they traded away Sandy Alcantara to the goddamn Marlins. He's so goddamn good.
We'll live to rule our decisions. Did Michael Irvin have the nickname the Playmaker?
So now that you mention it, it's kind of familiar, but in like normal conversation, I've never heard anyone reference him to that.
Maybe in like The Longest Yard.
Another honorable mention. I didn't use it because we already had 2 of theirs, but Iron Mike Ditka was an honorable mention.
Oh, that's a good name.
Honey Badger, Tyron Matthew.
Yep.
This one is very niche, so I didn't put it on the list. But a very popular one, at least on the internet, is Doug Martin's nickname, Muscle Hamster.
That's a good one.
I forgot about that being a thing.
Dude, that guy sucked. He was good for 1 year.
We'll have to get a side. The way Kyle said that was so funny. You gotta get that like recorded.
So aggressive. There was Jack Reynolds for the Rams. He was a linebacker. His nickname was Hacksaw.
I kind of remember that.
Badass, but nobody ever listened or nobody ever talks about it. I did not know that Sean Merriman had a nickname of Lights Out.
Oh, he did.
I remember that.
Who did he hit so hard?
Man.
Let's see.
It was a running back. I know that.
Yeah, I forgot all about that because that was a thing for a while.
I have a picture with his jersey.
Priest Home. For Kyle, who I think he might have hit. Who Kyle's not listening. Apparently, defensive end Javon Curse has the nickname The Freak, but I always thought that was Randy Moss.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I think that like sports writers touted Curse the Freak, and Randy Moss like tried to get people to start calling him the Freak.
Gotcha.
That's what I think.
Torrey Holt had Big Game as his nickname.
Yeah, I mean, I just like in general, that's kind of a lame nickname.
Yeah. Cadillac Williams.
His first name is what? Carnell?
Yep, Carnell. Yeah.
Why? So why was it Cadillac? Just cause?
You felt like it.
Because it was a C.
All right. I mean, I always called him Cadillac Williams, but.
Do you guys know the name Craig Hayward?
Is it Cam O'Connor's brother?
It is not. An oldie, but one no less recognizable is Ed Too Tall Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Ed Jones?
He was a defensive end for the Cowboys. I didn't want to catch flack for it, so I didn't put it on here. Icky Woods.
Why'd you get flack for that?
I don't know. I figured people would hate Icky Woods.
I don't hate him. I mean, that Icky Shuffle was classic. Even came back in a commercial.
Are we going to recreate the Chicago Shuffle?
I think we should. Did you know also that there's a 2006 version of that called the Super Bowl Mumble?
What?
Remind me to show you or watch on your own. It's one of my favorite videos all time. If you type in the Super Bowl Mumble, someone made little we'll call them puppets of 06 Bear players on popsicle sticks, and they do like another song and like a song/rap to it. It is excellent.
That's so interesting.
I'd love to play it in the air, but I don't know the copyrights for that.
Yeah, that's very. Hey, did Cordell Stewart have the nickname Slash?
Yeah. He was running back at first.
That's a pretty cool nickname.
He was a running back at first.
Let's see. I'm just looking through.
I heard he was a pretty good running back too.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's more so like receiver too.
Fuck, what was his name? Charlie Whitehurst has one of the greatest nicknames.
Oh yeah,
I completely forgot about it. That should have made the list. That probably
Jesus.
Clipboard Jesus. Yeah,
Clipboard Jesus.
That's a great name.
That guy played for a lot of teams.
He wasn't terrible.
He was pretty bad, Kendall.
No, listen. On all those teams, there was just a better quarterback in front of him. That's all it was. Bad timing.
Every time he played, he wasn't good.
That's not true.
Look it up.
Bring up the stats.
All right. Hold on. Give me a second.
What are you slamming your fucking thing for? He threw 113 pitches in 7 2/3 innings.
Kendall.
You gave 1 run.
Kendall.
Yes.
What stats are we arguing?
Just in general, that he wasn't that bad. All right, so 2006, Chargers. Like, all right, so that would have been Phillip Rivers. So playing behind him. 2010 to 11, Seattle. So that's what? Matt Hasselbeck, just better quarterback. 2013 Chargers again, Phillip Rivers, better quarterback. 2014, he may have had a chance to play.
He was a Brown at one point.
He was.
Listen,
He was a Brown his last year, I think.
all I'm saying is that there was always a quarterback who was better than him, and then he played for the Browns because every quarterback who's mediocre played for the Browns. They made a whole song about it.
You know,
That tickled Kyle.
actually, you know what's funny? That era of Seattle backups played for the Browns. Seneca Wallace, Charlie Fry,
Yeah, it's really weird.
Charlie
Hasselbeck?
Whitehurst.
Did Hasselbeck ever play for them?
No.
Tim might have.
Yeah, I think he did.
Let's see. Other nicknames that I forgot. Peyton Manning. Could you tell me what his nickname is?
Oh, Sheriff, right?
Yep.
See, that's,
Darrell Revis.
oh, was it Revis Island? Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
That's a dumb nickname.
It is.
Not at the time,
Ken
it wasn't.
Stabler.
Snake.
Lefty man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Penny the Snake Stabler, which is a pretty cool nickname.
Yeah, they call him that because his schlong. Not true.
Apparently, Jack Tatum was known as Assassin.
Really?
Apparently.
That's weird.
Charles Peanut Tillman, another good Bears nickname.
So, I feel like I've never figured out why that was his name.
Let's see.
And I'm sure we've talked about it.
Dubbed Peanut as a baby by an aunt who thought he resembled one.
That was an unsatisfactory answer.
That's what it is. Let's see. Another good Bears nickname, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Man, I don't even know what that is.
Steve McMichael was a defensive lineman during the Bears
85 run?
Ditka days.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that name.
He was he got the nickname from Blazing Saddles.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Let's look up some baseball nicknames that are great.
All right, hold on. Let me get through these last 10 because
Okay.
Gale Sayers, the Kansas Comet.
I don't like that one.
Did not know this one was a thing, but it's hysterical. Marion Barber was Marion the Barbarian.
Makes sense.
Dante Hall was the Human Joystick.
I heard that.
Let's see. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron.
Never heard of that.
Oh, you never heard
I
that?
haven't.
I love that nickname.
Yeah,
So ridiculous.
it is. Let's see. That's stupid. Terrell Suggs, T Sizzle.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
We could talk about him for his football accomplishments. OJ.
Oh, what, the juice?
He was a good guy.
Ever seen that Family Guy about him?
That's what I'm
I
saying.
have not.
Good guy.
At
What
the
a
ver-
great episode.
At the very end, he stabs that lady.
I completely forgot about this, but this was a big meme for a while. Terrence Knighton on the Broncos was known as
The Knight.
Pot Roast.
Oh, man.
He was a defensive tackle, right?
Yes. I can't believe I forgot about this one. Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. The law firm.
That's funny.
That went one.
Yeah. That's such a good nickname. Andy Dalton is the Red Rifle.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, man. I hated Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, but that nickname is so funny.
yeah. Matt Ryan. Matty Ice.
Yeah, I get it.
Let's see. Looking through these last couple, and I don't think we're. Oh, Darren McFadden, Run DMC.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Steve McNair,
What was him?
Air McNair.
That makes
Something
sense.
like
Yeah.
that. Let's see.
I mean, not terribly clever, but it's good.
Yeah. And then That's a classic nickname. Bullet Bob Hayes, the guy who the zone coverage defense was created for. Let's see. Best baseball nicknames.
I mean, baseball.
The one that, to me, my favorite nickname I think of all time, because of the meaning, is the Kid.
Oh, for Ken Griffey.
Because like the backwards hat, kids falling in love with baseball because of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is like one of those baseball, like, hey, like the time, like, hey, this is like a really America's pastime, and Ken Griffey is like the embodiment of that. I get it.
And Ken Griffey Jr. is like till this day still like the most loved player. Like all the greats today, their favorite player of all time, Ken Griffey Jr.
Especially people like we're in our late 20s, early 30s, like that definitely fits the bill for us, and especially people who are like just a little older than us, that really holds true.
Like my dad got to see like him in his prime, and it was unbelievable.
Are these just active players?
Well, I mean, baseball has like hundreds, like back in like the 1910s, like, oh, that's, wet knees McGillicuddy,
Wet knees McGillicuddy.
He's batting 204 on the year.
But boy,
so wow, I will tell you, I've gone to the top 5 search results in Google. Not one of them has the Kid listed as one of the best.
Oh, that's fine. That's just my personal favorite.
Well, I do like that.
I mean, that is tough because of the reason you just mentioned. There's so many players that are so storied that, unfortunately, it's kind of just in the mix.
Oh, I'm sure there's way better nicknames than that. It's just my personal favorite.
All right, let's see. This is from MLB.com. The 25 best nicknames in MLB history. Number 1, Babe Ruth.
What needs McGillicuddy?
Babe Ruth is number 1.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can't remember. What was his first name?
George.
The Sultan of SWAT.
The Sultan of SWAT.
Yeah, that's actually a name that's listed here. Other things such as Bambino, the Sultan of SWAT, the Big Bam, and Jidge.
The Great Bambino.
I didn't know
that Swimpy deer.
I didn't know the Sultan of SWAT. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Did you not ever watch fucking The Sandlot?
I just must have not paid attention to that. When you said the Sultan of SWAT, I'm thinking like that should just be Shaq.
No. Next one is a player from the 20s called Cool Papa Bell.
I love baseball nicknames.
Number 3 is, I'm curious to see how this goes over, Big Papi.
Yeah.
It's iconic, I guess.
Honorable mention, or here we go. Number 4, Yogi Berra.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Charlie Hustle.
Wait, that wasn't his name.
Yeah.
Number 6, Satchel Paige.
Okay.
Here's the thing: I don't know like any of these guys like real names.
That's kind of true.
Yogi Berra is Lawrence Berra. Charlie Hustle, you guys know.
Pete Rose.
Satchel Paige was Leroy Page.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever say Leroy Page.
Yeah, not once.
Next is Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
The Wizard, Ozzie Smith.
Mm-hmm. That's a good nickname. He was so good.
Mr. October.
Yeah, I always love that name. I mean,
Mr. October.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's like such a pompous nickname, like, but it's awesome.
Let's see.
It was only good in October.
This is one that is, it's a really creative, but not creative nickname, but it's too new for me to think it deserves to be at number 10 on this list. All Rise for Aaron Judge.
It's not really a nickname. It's more of a saying.
I gotta be honest. I didn't even know that was like a thing.
Nobody's fucking calling this guy All Rise Judge.
No.
All rise is up.
Let's see. This one is in on technicality because it was on the player's jersey for Players Weekend. Corey's brother.
Oh, for Craig?
For Kyle.
Oh, God, Craig, Jesus.
Let's see. I don't know who that is. Double Duty Radcliffe, which is kind of cool. One of my favorite nicknames is Sandman.
Mariano.
For some reason, I thought you said something different. Like, I don't know who the Sandman is. Massey, enlighten me, because he's now my favorite player.
Sandman. Thor.
It's all right.
You know, like,
it just makes sense.
Right, give the guy a buzz cut. He's not Thor.
Well, he might be, Kendall, because Thor got a buzz cut.
Okay, I just mean in general, iconically speaking.
Let's see, the Say Hey Kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool name, but I mean, it just rhymes.
Let's see, Secretary of Defense.
What was it?
The Secretary of Defense.
Such a good
Gary
name.
Maddox.
Oh.
Such a good name. He was a center fielder for the Phillies.
Kung Fu Panda.
Great name.
That's funny.
Fucking Sandoval. The Big Unit.
Yep. Randy Johnson.
The Big Hurt.
Yep.
Frank Thomas.
Oil Can Boyd.
Who?
That's Dennis Boyd, probably from the early 20s or the Negro League.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a guy that was like before World War II.
Joey Bats.
Is that Joey Gallo?
It is Jose Bautista.
You know what? I knew that. I'm an idiot. I knew that.
The Human Rain Delay.
That could be so many people.
See, you know what? We've actually made that up for. We talk about on the show before. We have a friend named Vito. And I didn't know that was actually like for a real person, because
it's for a pitcher by the name of Mike Hargrove.
Because
never heard of him.
So Vito, we'd be playing wiffle ball, and then like he'd be on his phone or doing just anything else, and like, hey guy, we're trying to play here.
Yeah, so this guy got the name for the many time-consuming adjustments he would make between pitches.
So Nomar Garcia fucking Parra.
Scrabble apparently was the name.
I've never heard.
Mark Brzezowski. I don't know who that is.
He played for the Cardinals. He was a lefty.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
The Penguin.
I feel like I know that name, but I don't know.
Ron C.
Kendall, we don't know that guy.
No, I was thinking it was be somebody who was like in the late '90s, and boy,
Mr. Smile.
No, I don't know that either.
Apparently, that's Francisco Lindor.
Really?
He does smile a lot.
I mean, I get it, but that's lame.
Let's see. We've got El Mago, or the Magician.
That's kind of familiar, but I don't know why.
That is Javi Baez.
Huh.
Yeah, I've heard it.
There is Polar Bear.
That's Pete Alonso.
Yep. El Nino, the Spanish kid.
See, like I know all these, but I just forgot them.
Yeah.
That is Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Like you heard that kind of early on, and then it stopped hearing it.
Yeah.
Also, guess what? Not worth the money so far.
Childish Bambino.
That's a good name.
That is a good name.
That is Juan Soto.
I've heard that one.
La Pantera the Panther.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
That is one Luis Robert.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. It's not a bad name, but I just never heard it.
Let's see. Showtime. Showtime spelled S-H-O.
I mean, clever. Never heard it.
Bringer of Rain.
Bob Saget.
Ringer or Bringer of Rain?
Bringer. I am bringing rain.
I don't know.
Pedro Martinez.
No. Josh Donaldson, who gave himself the nickname.
That's terrible.
Yep.
He's an asshole.
We should sue him for that.
The Machine or La Máquina.
I am the machine.
That apparently is also the player formerly known as El Hombre. Albert Pujols. Nelson Cruz's nickname, anybody?
You're gonna say it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Boomstick.
I actually didn't know that. Boomstick. So dumb.
Fuck you, Anthony Bass.
The Millville Meteor.
Oh, that's he's a Cub. I know that.
He sure is, Kyle. It's not.
But would make sense because that's on their jerseys.
It's Kyle's favorite player.
Is it Bryce?
Harper?
It is not Bryce because that's not Kyle's favorite player.
Is it Aaron Nola? Because that is my favorite player.
It is not Aaron Nola because that's not your favorite player.
Yes, it is.
It's
Is
not.
it fucking Freddie Freeman?
It's not Freddie Freeman.
I have no idea.
It's Mike Trout.
Oh, I do like Mike Trout.
But it is a weird name.
King Felix.
Felix Hernandez.
I always liked that for him. And like for a long time he was pretty good.
Let's see.
He just always played on shit squads.
Yeah, I mean Seattle ruined his career.
As they do to most players who play for
He didn't want to leave, though. He didn't want to leave.
No, listen, credit to him. The guy was loyal as hell, but damn. Do the guy a favor.
Big Maple.
Then he went to Baltimore for spring training.
I don't know.
Big Maple.
I have no idea.
That is James Paxton after being one of only 11 Canadian-born big leaguers last year.
He sucks.
Knowing that information makes me like that nickname even less.
Apparently, this person has El Ministro de la Defensa. The Minister of Defense.
It's funny.
Oh, really? I like this guy. The Minister of Darkness is back. Is it Christian Edge?
It is not. Kendall, do you have a guess?
I got nothing.
Kyle?
The Minister of Defense is got to be a shortstop, right?
Let me check what position he plays. I should know that. I absolutely know the name. I just couldn't tell you what position he plays. He is a shortstop, but is also listed as a third baseman. I do not know which one is his.
Is it Nolan Arenado?
It is not Arenado.
Even though he's not a shortstop.
It's also somebody Spanish, Kyle, because El Ministro de la Defensa.
Yeah, because
he's Hispanic.
Imagine his name is Greg White.
It's Manny Machado.
Is it really?
Makes sense.
The Kraken.
I feel like I've heard this before. I don't know why.
This is one I actually knew. That's Gary Sanchez.
Ew, really?
Yeah. Dude, bunt the fucking ball down the third base line.
Let's see. What's Bryce Harper's?
I don't know. MV3. Tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not.
You're wrong. It's Bam Bam, apparently.
Okay, one, never heard that. Two, it's MV3 now.
As of this year.
Last year.
Blake Snell.
Overrated.
Dumb.
Snellzilla.
I like mine better.
Todd Frazier's is the very basic the Todd Father.
I love the Todd Father.
Nothing creative about it.
Listen,
Doesn't need to be.
Perhaps not, but it was so appropriate.
Yasiel Puig.
Annoying.
Sucked.
Vince Scully gave him the nickname Wild Horse.
Boo.
Makes sense.
I know this name, but I don't know why I know this name. Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, he went off in the World Series a couple of years ago.
Apparently, he was the Cuban Rocket.
Kyle, that was right down the fucking dickhead. All right, let's go. Figure it out.
It was right down the fucking dickhead. Way to go, Kyle.
He gets it. His name's Kyle.
Apparently, Dustin Pedroia is the Laser Show.
Yeah, I knew that.
Did not. I didn't. This is very funny. Ryan Braun.
Steroids.
The Hebrew Hammer.
Yes, we all knew that.
Yeah, I heard that. I actually forgot all about it.
That's fucking hysterical.
He was so good for like 4 years.
Yeah. After you kind of turned out to be kind of a dick, I kind of like...
He went the Aaron Rodgers show.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
yeah, can we please end this game? I got to shit.
Well, listen, we're going to wrap up.
No, not the show. I said the game.
Well,
yeah, I know, but it's 7
the
o'clock,
show,
Kyle.
the show too.
And Kyle Schwarber struck out with him.
But hey, that was good. That
was
was
a
interesting.
lot of fun.
Want to do some beer reviews or drink reviews? Kyle, did you end up having anything to drink?
I had a Coke.
Nice.
Good man.
Massey?
It's a gold tequila, I think. I don't know. I'm sitting in the dark, so I can't really tell. It might be just.
To my knowledge, I don't think. I mean, I could be totally off basis. I don't really drink a whole ton of tequila, but I think Don Julio is silver.
It might be. But I put other stuff in it, so I can't tell. Crisp, refreshing. Definitely gonna regret it in the morning.
Now, did you just have it like on the rocks?
No, a little bit like a redneck kind of margarita.
Okay, that's cool. I like to do like a homemade margarita. It's a lot of work.
It is.
I almost pooped my pants.
Hilarious. I'll tell you guys a story off the air sometime about that exact thing. I had a pretty janky drink. I took.
Oh, I forgot your fucking trash.
The remaining of my Creekwater whiskey, and I combined a flat Coke and a flat Pepsi to make a whiskey cola. Now, traditionally speaking, when I have hard liquor, especially brown liquor, I just kind of drink it as is on the rocks. But for this, I decided to make a soda. It was fine. Now, don't get me wrong. Like usually, when you have a whiskey cola at a bar, you're having it with a soda with bubbles in it. So this was kind of not that, just kind of a soda water mixed with whiskey, but very serviceable, very drinkable. Would be better cold. Excuse me, and perhaps not in a water bottle.
I forgot you didn't even drink it cold.
But it was okay. As far as the whiskey goes, I had it a couple times over the weekend. There's nothing. Hold on.
Kyle, what the hell is happening to you, bud?
Why don't you mute yourself during
They
this
walked in on me in the
process?
bathroom.
Oh. You just got walked in the bathroom?
They walked in on me in the bathroom. Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
Kyle, mute your mic, please.
I'm in the bathroom. Who cares?
That's why.
Anyway, if it, very, very, it's serviceable, but not like a great like. If someone hands it to you, give it a shot. Especially if you like Yellow Wolf, like I do, the rapper. Like, hey, support the brand. But I don't think this whiskey is winning any awards. It was perfect to mix it with cola. So, 2.3 stars out of 5. Probably wouldn't get again, but it was a gift that I was very grateful for.
And you would probably drink it again if somebody had it.
Exactly. Massey, do you want to take a shot and tell us where you can find us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and
Spotify.
Something at GSWD and Twitter's, Facebook, and Instagram at GSWD_4.
So Twitter and Instagram at GSWD_4. Facebook is Getting Sports with the Drunk.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think I would know.
Hey, listen, that's all right. Use the hashtag GSWD, whether it's getting walked into the bathroom at the end of the show or
doing some nickname brackets.
Yeah, and learning some really ridiculous, cool names along the way.
Andre Badman Rising.
Yeah, pretty mad. I spent my entire life not knowing that. Souls, you want to take a shot at what shows are on the PPRN Radio Network lineup?
Yeah, it's the Boo Show.
Yep.
It's on at 7:00, I think, on a Thursday. Am I right?
Yep.
Just on a singular Thursday.
Singular Thursday. Good luck. Roll the dice finding it. Every Thursday, it's the Boo Show. Thursdays at 7.
And then we have the guy I made up show.
What was his name?
Yes, he's talking about Dan Reeves, which is a fictional show that Kyle made up. But Peter Pinot Show, Wednesdays at 7:30. They're returning after their trip, so there's going to be a lot to talk about this week. Choreorama, Sundays at 2. Dilemma Monday on Delay, Tuesdays at 5. Our show, Getting Sports with Drunk, starting at 8. Every other Saturday is Mixtape Saturday, so coming off a big mixtape weekend. So in 2 weeks' time, there'll be the next mixtape, so stay tuned for the lineup. And anytime there's not one of our shows on, there's 24/7 music, so live content all the time. So be sure to tune in. Yeah, and that's about it. So Mark didn't get a chance to join us today. Riddler was off, but hopefully next week we can get a full staff together, put together some good stuff for you. But other than that, we had a fun time tonight, and looking forward to next time. And until then, he is
the man of many names, Kyle Soles.
Nope. The Master Massey.
And the Rat of a Red Baron. Meow.
Yeah.